you just spent $47 at Target on stuff you didn't really need because you wanted to hit your credit card's sign-up bonus. You're walking out feeling smart, like you're gaming the system because, hey, you're earning 2% cash back and getting closer to that free flight to Hawaii. Meanwhile, your credit card balance is sitting at $3,200 and you're paying $68 a month in interest.
But it's fine, right? Because you're getting rewards.
My name is Zach, and I spend way too much time thinking about how credit card companies have convinced millions of people that going into debt is actually a smart financial strategy.
If you're someone who carries a balance on your credit card but justifies it because you're earning points, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because here's the thing. The credit card rewards game is one of the most brilliantly designed psychological traps in modern finance. And I'm not talking about the people who pay off their cards every month and genuinely benefit from rewards. I'm talking about the 45% of American credit card holders who carry a balance month to month. That's roughly 60 million people who are being sold a story that sounds amazing, but is mathematically destroying their wealth. And the numbers are wild. According to the Federal Reserve, the average credit card interest rate right now is around 22%.
22%.
But people are out here optimizing for 2% cash back like it's some kind of financial hack. The math doesn't just not work out, it's catastrophically bad. And yet, credit card companies spent over $18 billion on marketing in 2023 alone to make sure you never do this calculation. So let's break down exactly how this scam works, why it's so effective, and what you need to do if you've fallen for it. Here's what most people don't realize. Credit card rewards aren't free. I know that sounds obvious, but stay with me, because the psychology here is fascinating. When you see earn 2% cash back or get 50,000 bonus points, your brain processes that as found money. It feels like the credit card company is just giving you stuff. And in a way, they are. But only if you're playing the game perfectly. See, credit card companies operate on a business model that depends on you not playing perfectly. They make money three ways: interest charges, merchant fees, and late fees. The rewards they give you, that comes from the merchant fees. The 2 to 3% that businesses pay every time you swipe your card. So when a credit card gives you 2% cash back, they're basically just sharing a portion of what they're already collecting from the merchant. But here's where it gets really interesting. Credit card companies don't actually want you to be one of those people who pays off their balance every month and just collects rewards. Those people are called deadbeats in the industry. Yeah, that's actually what they call their best customers. Deadbeats, because they're not making the company any money from interest. The real money comes from revolvers, people who revolve a balance month to month. And this is where the rewards game becomes a scam. Because the entire reward structure is designed to encourage spending behavior that leads to carrying a balance. Let me show you the math on this, because this is where it gets absolutely brutal. Let's say you have a credit card with a $5,000 balance. Pretty average for Americans who carry balances. Actually, the average is closer to $6,000, but we'll be conservative. Your interest rate is 22%, which is about average right now. And let's say you're making minimum payments of $150 a month. Here's what happens. In the first month, you're charged about $92 in interest. So of your $150 payment, only $58 goes toward your actual balance. You're earning 2% cash back on your spending, so if you put another $1,000 on the card that month, which is typical for people trying to earn rewards, you get $20 back. Congrats! But you just paid $92 in interest. Your reward cost you $72. That's a negative 7.2% return. You would literally be better off burning that $20 bill, because at least that would keep you warm. And it gets worse. At this rate, it'll take you roughly 5 years to pay off that $5,000 balance, and you'll pay about $3,800 in interest charges. Even if you earned 2% cash back on every single dollar of that spending, you'd get back maybe $600 in rewards over those 5 years. You paid $3,800 to earn $600. That's a 533% markup on your rewards. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Zach, but I'm not that bad. I pay more than the minimum. Great. Let's say you pay $300 a month instead.
You'll still pay about $1,400 in interest over 2 years.
Your rewards might get you $300 back.
You still paid $1,100 to earn $300.
That's a 267% markup.
The only way this math works in your favor is if you pay your balance in full every single month.
And if you're doing that, awesome. You're in the 55% who are actually benefiting from rewards programs.
But if you're carrying any balance at all, the rewards are a mathematical scam that's costing you real money.
This is where it gets really interesting.
The psychological design behind credit card rewards is absolutely genius. And I mean that in the most sinister way possible. Credit card companies have spent billions researching behavioral economics to figure out exactly how to get you to spend more and rationalize carrying a balance.
Here's how they do it.
First, they make the rewards immediate and visible. Every time you make a purchase, you see the points or cash back adding up.
That gives you a little dopamine hit.
Your brain loves immediate rewards. It's the same reason people play slot machines. The immediate feedback feels good, even when you're losing money overall.
Second, they make the costs delayed and abstract. The interest charge shows up later, sometimes weeks later, and it's buried in your statement as just a number.
It doesn't feel like you're losing money the way it would if someone physically took cash out of your wallet.
This is called payment decoupling, and it's incredibly effective at separating the pain of paying from the pleasure of buying.
Third, they use tiered rewards to encourage category spending.
You get 3% back on groceries, 2% on gas, 1% on everything else. This makes you think strategically about your spending, which sounds smart, but actually just makes you spend more.
Studies show that people with rewards cards spend about 12 to 18% more than people with regular credit cards because they're optimizing for categories.
And here's the really clever part. They set the reward thresholds just high enough that you have to increase your spending to hit them. Look at those sign-up bonuses. Spend $3,000 in the first 3 months and get 50,000 bonus points.
Sounds amazing, right?
But think about what that does to your behavior.
If you normally spend $2,000 a month, you're fine.
But if you normally spend $800 a month, you're now incentivized to spend an extra $1,400 over 3 months, almost double your normal rate, just to get those points.
And what do people do? They rationalize purchases they wouldn't otherwise make.
Well, I was going to buy that eventually anyway.
It's a good deal, and I'll get the points. I can just return it if I don't like it.
Except most people don't return it. And the $3,000 goes on the card, and maybe they can't pay it all off that month because they spent more than usual, and boom, they're paying interest to earn rewards.
There's actually a term for this in behavioral economics: reward-seeking spending. And credit card companies know exactly how to trigger it.
Here's the thing most people get completely wrong about credit card debt. They think of it as temporary. I'm just carrying this balance until I get my tax refund. I'll pay it off after I get my bonus at work. It's just for a few months. But the data tells a completely different story. According to a study by the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, the average person who starts carrying a credit card balance continues carrying one for over 3 years. And for many people, it becomes permanent.
They never actually pay it off. They just manage it.
Month after month, year after year, paying interest while telling themselves they're earning rewards.
And look, I get it.
Life is expensive.
Emergencies happen.
Sometimes you need to use credit to get by.
I'm not here to shame anyone for that. But what drives me crazy is when people convince themselves that they're being financially savvy by carrying this debt because they're earning 2% cash back.
Let me give you a framework for thinking about this that might help. If you're paying 22% interest and earning 2% rewards, you're experiencing a net loss of 20% on every dollar you charge and don't pay off. 20%.
Let that sink in.
If I told you about an investment that was guaranteed to lose 20% per year, you'd think I was insane for suggesting it. But that's exactly what you're doing when you carry a balance on a rewards card. And it compounds.
Not in your favor, against you. Every month that balance sits there, you're paying interest on the interest.
It's reverse compound growth.
Instead of your money working for you, it's working against you,
and the credit card company is the beneficiary.
Here's a concrete example to make this real. Sarah has a credit card with a $4,000 balance at 21% APR. She's making $200 monthly payments and putting about $1,500 new on the card each month for regular expenses. She earns 1.5% cash back on everything. In year 1, she charges $18,000 total. She earns $270 in cash back.
She pays approximately $750 in interest.
Net cost? Negative $480. She literally paid $480 for the privilege of using a card that gave her $270 back.
And here's the kicker. That $4,000 balance? After a full year of $200 payments, it's only down to about $3,600 because of the interest and continued spending.
Now imagine this goes on for 5 years.
The interest paid? Over $3,500. She's paying more than 2.5 times her rewards in interest charges.
Now, here's what you need to understand about how this affects your actual wealth.
It's not just about the money you're losing to interest versus rewards.
It's about the opportunity cost of what else you could be doing with that money.
Let's say instead of paying $750 a year in interest while earning $270 in rewards, a net loss of $480, you had no credit card debt and invested that $480 annually in a simple index fund averaging 10% returns.
After 10 years, that's not just $4,800.
With compound growth, that's about $7,700.
After 20 years? Over $27,000.
After 30 years? More than $79,000.
So when you're 55 years old and wondering why you don't have more saved for retirement, part of the answer might be that you spent your 20s and 30s paying interest to credit card companies while convincing yourself you were earning rewards.
And that's just one person's story. Collectively, Americans paid over $130 billion in credit card interest in 2023. Billion with a B.
That's $130 billion that could have gone toward retirement savings, home down payments, starting businesses, or building generational wealth.
Instead, it went to banks as interest payments, while people earned back maybe $3–4 billion in rewards.
The credit card industry is literally extracting wealth from the middle class at a rate of about $126 billion per year, net of rewards.
And they've convinced people this is normal.
That it's just the cost of modern life.
Look, here's what actually needs to happen if you're in this situation.
Step 1. Stop rationalizing the debt because of the rewards.
This is the hardest step because it requires admitting you've been thinking about this wrong. But until you mentally decouple earning rewards from carrying a balance, you can't fix the problem.
The rewards are not making your debt okay. They're costing you money. Step 2. Run the actual numbers on your situation. Take your current balance, multiply it by your interest rate, divide by 12. That's roughly what you're paying in interest each month. Now calculate your rewards.
For most people, the interest is 10–15 times higher than the rewards.
See it in black and white. Step 3. Stop using the card for new purchases immediately. I know this feels extreme,
But you cannot pay off a card you're still actively using.
it's like trying to empty a bathtub while the faucet is running.
Every dollar of rewards you earn while carrying a balance is costing you $10 in interest.
Stop.
Step 4. Attack the balance with every extra dollar you can find.
Not the minimum payment, not double the minimum, every single extra dollar.
Cut expenses, sell stuff, pick up extra work, whatever it takes.
Because every month that balance sits there, it's costing you 1.8% in interest, 22% annual divided by 12 months.
That's real money leaving your pocket.
Step 5. Once it's paid off, decide if you can handle a rewards card. Step 5. Once it's paid off, decide if you can handle a rewards card. Can you pay it off every single month without exception? Because if you can't, if there's even a 20% chance you'll carry a balance, you're better off with a no-fee, no-rewards debit card that you can't go into debt on.
I know that's not sexy.
I know it doesn't feel like you're optimizing, but you know what else doesn't feel good? paying $3,800 in interest to earn $600 in rewards. The alternative approach, for people who want to keep using credit responsibly, if you're committed to using credit cards for rewards, here are the non-negotiable rules. Pay the full statement balance every single month. Not the minimum, not most of it, the full balance.
Set up auto pay if you have to.
2. Never spend more because of rewards.
If you wouldn't buy it with cash, don't buy it for points. The rewards should be a bonus on spending you are doing anyway, not a reason to spend.
3. Track it obsessively.
You should know your balance in real time.
Check it every few days. If you're not willing to do this level of monitoring, you're not ready for rewards cards.
Have a debt emergency fund.
If an emergency happens and you need to use the card, you should have cash set aside to pay it off immediately.
Because remember, 1 month of carried balance can wipe out years of rewards.
5. Calculate your actual rewards annually.
At the end of each year, add up what you earned versus what you spent in fees.
If you're not clearing at least $200, $300 net profit for your effort, it's not worth the mental energy and risk.
Here's what the credit card companies don't want you to know. They actually lose money on about 20–25% of their customers, the ones who pay in full every month and maximize rewards.
But they make so much money on the other 75–80% that it more than compensates.
The entire reward system exists to attract responsible users who make the cards look appealing, which then attracts less responsible users who end up subsidizing everyone's rewards through interest payments.
You're either the customer they're losing money on, or you're the product they're profiting from.
There's no middle ground.
And the reward structure is specifically designed to make you think you're the former when you're actually the latter.
Think about it. Why would a for-profit company give you free money?
They wouldn't.
The free rewards are paid for by someone, either merchants through swipe fees or cardholders through interest charges.
And the math is set up so that the majority of cardholders pay way more in interest than they'll ever earn in rewards.
It's the same principle as a casino.
Yes, some people win.
Yes, those people are visible and celebrated. But the house always wins overall, because the math is designed that way.
Credit card rewards are the financial equivalent of free drinks at the blackjack table. They make you feel good while the real money flows the other way. And honestly, this is bigger than just personal finance.
This credit card reward scam is part of a larger wealth transfer happening in this country.
The people who can afford to pay their cards off in full every month, typically higher earners, get to collect rewards that are partially subsidized by the people who can't afford to pay in full, typically lower and middle-income earners who pay interest.
According to research from the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia, households in the top income quartile earn about $1,100 per year in credit card rewards, while households in the bottom quartile earn about $200.
But that bottom quartile pays way more in interest as a percentage of their income.
So we've created a system where struggling families pay interest that helps fund rewards for wealthier families.
And we've wrapped it in language about being smart with money and optimizing rewards, so it sounds like personal responsibility instead of a regressive wealth transfer.
I'm not saying don't use credit cards.
I'm saying understand what game you're actually playing.
And if you're carrying a balance while chasing rewards, you're not winning. You're the reason the game exists.
So, what do you do with this information?
If you're carrying a balance right now, your priority isn't maximizing rewards. It's getting out of debt, period.
You're paying $22 to earn $2. Stop.
Pay off the card. Use cash or debit for a while. Rebuild your relationship with spending.
And then, only then, if you want to get back into rewards cards, do it with your eyes open and a plan to never carry a balance.
If you're already paying in full every month, great. You're one of the ones actually benefiting.
But make sure you're not spending more just to earn points.
Track it, measure it, make sure the math actually works.
And if you know someone who's stuck in this cycle, making minimum payments, carrying balances, but talking about their credit card points, send them this video.
Because the credit card industry has spent billions making sure people don't do this math.
And the best thing we can do is help each other see through the marketing to the reality.
The credit card rewards game can work for you, but only if you're playing it perfectly.
And perfectly means never paying a cent in interest. ever.
If you can't do that, and most people can't, despite what they tell themselves, then you're not gaming the system. The system is gaming you.
If this changed how you think about credit card rewards, smash that like button and subscribe because we're just getting started.
Drop a comment and let me know. Are you carrying a balance on a rewards card right now?
What's keeping you from paying it off? I read every single one, and I want to help. Now go look at your credit card statement, run these numbers for yourself, and make a plan to either use credit responsibly or stop using it entirely.
Your future self, the one who's not paying interest on purchases from 3 years ago, will thank you.